All right, so this is week 2 of our series, really looking at bystander communication. And what we want to focus on today is that there's really a spectrum when it comes to this idea of harassment, of behaviors that you might consider harassment. And on one end of the spectrum is outright harassment. So that's inappropriate touching, name calling, maybe sexual advances. That's harassment. And in some ways, those situations are a lot easier to deal with because they're blatant. You see them and you know, hey, that's not okay. That violates a policy. I know that I should step in here. But then there's this whole spectrum of other actions that aren't that easy or as cut and dry. They're more of a gray area. And they go kind of all the way to this other end of what we call microaggressions. Now, let's define microaggressions really quickly because not everyone knows what that is. Microaggressions are the everyday verbal, nonverbal, and environmental slights or snubs or insults. And whether they're intentional or unintentional, they communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative messages to target people based solely on their group membership. So I'll give you a quick example. One of the people that I was working with told me the other day that she was a little bit dressed down for work, and she walked into work and someone said, "Oh, you must have had a rushed morning this morning, no makeup and today." And you know, it was hurtful to her because this person wasn't intentionally trying to be mean, but there was this assumption that she must not have looked as good as she should have, or that because she was female, she should be wearing makeup. And so that's a microaggression. It may not have been intentional, it may not have been out to get her, but because she's a female, there were some things said and it did hurt her. So as a bystander, it's really important to be aware of this spectrum because it's not just these overt, obvious situations that you need to step into. Sometimes it's these repeated behaviors, the teasing, the joking that goes too far, that are harder. And that's where having an important conversation with whether it's the target or the person who's doing the teasing is really important to stop the behavior in the long run.